Hello everyone, my name is Abdul Sarif and I'm going to teach you geography. And today we are going to start with the chapter agriculture. Now this is a chapter we have already given out the PDF of and all the written materials required. But I feel it would be convenient if we start this chapter once more. It would be much more convenient. So let's start. Okay. So and here we have the first subheading of the agriculture chapter, and that is the definition. Now just look into the definition. Now the science, art or practice of cultivating the soil, producing crops and raising livestock, and in a varying degrees the preparation and marketing the resulting product. Now see, now from this definition we kind of find out that agriculture is not just about growing a crop and seeing the end result, but it is a very broad meaning. Okay, it has a very broad meaning. Now it is the science. Okay, the way we use the technology. What technology have we been using into growing crop? Okay, like for our example, our primitive forefathers, they used to use a simple tool, okay, saw, axe and such kind of a thing for growing crops. And nowadays we use tractors, okay, we use fertilizers, pesticides, and there are a lot of things, okay. So the technology is changing. That means the subject, okay, the subject study agriculture, it's not so static, okay, it's very broad, okay, it's changing, okay. So this is the science and art or practice of cultivating the soil, okay. So and how and what means do we cultivate a land, okay, whether we use a contour plowing, whether we are doing a terrace farming, or whether we have a plain land and we're cultivating it like that, and whether if it's paddy, okay, if we are waterlogging it. So in what way are we doing it? Whether we are using irrigation or we don't have to use irrigation. So even this, okay, the science, okay, and the art, even this comes under the study subject of agriculture. And then of about raising livestock, okay, whether if you are keeping some, if you are doing some cattle rearing, okay, if you are doing some animal rearing, okay, like if you have some cattle, okay, if you have some cow for milk, if you have sheep for wool, if you are also doing that, okay, even this comes under the study subject of agriculture, okay, and in varying degrees. And the preparation, okay, like if after the end result, how do we prepare it, whether we do some packaging or whether we don't do any packaging, whether we just put it in the bag and we sell it, okay. So how do we prepare it, okay, how do we prepare the end result, okay. So even this, and the very important, the marketing of the resulting product, okay, how do we market it, whether we are putting a banner of it, of our end product, and we are selling it, or whether we are selling it to the nearest fair, okay, local fair, or whether we are exporting it to foreign countries, how we are marketing, okay, how we are marketing the end product, how we are getting the profit, or whether we are just eating it, okay. Even this whole, okay, everything I said, this whole comes under the study subject of agriculture. Now this is the definition of agriculture. So when we talk about agriculture, it is a very broad way, not just about raising a crop, okay, and getting the end product, but it's the science and art of this whole combined, okay. And on second we have the types of farming. Now there are various types of farming, but here I've mentioned some that you all, I felt, need to it needs to be explained, okay. So let's see what are they. Primitive subsistence farming. Now this very word primitive means old, subsistence means something that is only gonna help one person or two person, and farming, okay. Now from what do we understand with this word? This means, now this is an old tradition, primitive, okay, and it is subsistence, something that is only gonna be liable to the farmers, okay, not for sale. What I mean is it's something that cannot be sold out because the end product is very low, okay, the end product is very less, and it's only going to be sufficient for the farmers. Only the farmers are going, who has grown the crop, they are going to rely on it, okay. Now from here we understand that it is a primitive way, okay, the kind of tools they use is very primitive, and the method is also very primitive. The art and science of cultivating is also very primitive, and whatever the end result is, now it's so less, okay, especially because the farmland is very less, okay, that it is only gonna help those farmers, okay, the end product is only gonna help those farmers, and it's not for sale, okay. Only the, it's more of a, if you understand, it's more of a food crop, okay, but and the cultivation way is very primitive. Okay, now this kind of primitive subsistence farming, has an example, and that is called the slash and burn. Okay, in such kind of an example, in such kind of a system, what they do is you see a patch of land. Okay, now they cut it and then they burn it. Okay, let's say for example there are some grasses or vegetation on those patch of land. So and they cut down the vegetation. Okay, and they burn it, and whatever ash is remaining there, they mix it with the soil, that becomes the humus. Okay, that makes the soil more fertile, and they cultivate their land. Okay, and they do it for 2-3 times. Okay, they cultivate the land, and then they see the fertility has decreased. Okay, and they see the next patch of land, and they cut down those vegetation, and then they again burn it. Okay, and then they cultivate that land. So in this way, okay, they do it. Now this is a very primitive way, but this is how they do it. And normally the size of the land holding is very small. Okay, and now this kind of slash and burn system is still continuing in northeast India, and that is called zooming. Okay, and on second we have intensive subsistence farming. Now just look at here. Now intensive subsistence farming. Here the word primitive is excluded. So that means the farmers are using a bit of a modern art and science of cultivating the land. Okay, maybe they are doing some terrace farming and all. Okay, it's a bit of an upgraded version, but the land holding is still small, so that the output is still less, and the output cannot be sold commercially, because only the farmers or whoever cultivated the land, only they can relate to it. Okay, because the outcome is so low and so less. So and here, as they are using man labor very much. Okay, the man labor is very high in this area, and there are and they try to like get the most out of the cultivated land. Okay, the land is very intense. Okay, the land is very pressurized, so it is intensive, and it is subsistence. Only the farmers can rely to it, and it cannot be sold out in the market because the outcome is very less. Okay, so this is the intensive subsistence farming. And then we have commercial farming. Now commercial farming, as we all know, as we all can picture it, the land holding is very big. Okay, there are a lot of people working on it. Okay, because the head farmer, he, he has certain profit he can make from it, that he can hire 1, 2, 3 laborers from the surrounding areas, and he can make them work in his land. Okay, but the manual labor is very less. Okay, the effort they put is very less, because there are new and modern technologies that are being used here, like tractors, threshers, and all these kind of things, and fertilizers, pesticides, all have been used here. So it is a modern kind of technology is being used here. Now it is commercial because the outcome is very high. Okay, now it is commercial because the land holding is very high. Okay, so this is the commercial kind of a farming. And then we have plantation farming. Plantation farming, okay, now you understand. Plantation farming is a kind of commercial farming. It is a type of commercial farming actually, in where there is a huge area is cultivated with one particular kind of a plant. Okay, only one kind of a variety is planted in those huge areas. Like for example, if you see on Assam and Darjeeling area, this huge area is covered with only tea plantation. Okay, because there are a lot of tea processing. Okay, there are factories and industries, many people rely to it. Okay, there are lots of workers working on it, and then they export it to the foreign countries. Okay, it is a very profit making farming. Okay, now not cereal no cereal crops are not grown here. Okay, it is just for profit making farming. Okay, plantation farming. And then we have something called market gardening or truck farming. Now this is a very capital intensive farming. Okay, a lot of capital is required here. Now in this such kind of a farming, the farms are located far from the located away from the market. Okay, and here the crops are grown under controlled environment. Okay, and it is scientifically managed. Like for example, there is a farm quite away from the market. Okay, and the temperature may not be that suitable, so what they do is they put the seeds on the nursery. Okay, and the nursery with its controlled temperature and pressure and everything, and air and all, it helps the seed to germinate. Okay, now this whole process, now it's very capital intensive. That means the initial money is required in a very high amount, because to build a nursery and to keep all those plants on a very controlled environment. Okay, a lot of precise knowledge is needed. Okay, a lot of precise hand is needed. Okay, so a lot of precise people who knows the job are to be hired. Okay, and all those building up nurseries, investment and everything. So this is a very capital intensive farming. Okay, and then those seeds that are germinate are taken up to the farmland and they are grown there. So this is the market gardening or the truck farming. So here are the types of farming that I have explained. Okay, other than that, it's on the PDF that you all have. Okay, this is just for your explanation and to make it easy for you. And then we have something called crop rotation. Now in crop rotation, okay, what they do is some people, okay, they found up like certain thing that like after growing a certain kind of a crop, okay, there is still time. Okay, I'm just giving you the explanation. After growing up a certain kind of crop, there is still time to grow the same crop in the next season. Okay, and so in that spare time, in those time, what they do is they cultivate a different kind of a crop. Okay, now this is called a crop rotation, growing one crop of after another. Okay, like for example, you have this, the pulses is grown after cereal crops. Okay, or oilseeds after cereal crops. Now what they found out is it helps retain the oilseeds and the pulses, it helps retain the nitrogen balance in the soil. Okay, so when the again the cereal crop, the rice or the wheat, if it has to be cultivated, the soil is again as fresh as new. Okay, it is not exploited. So they found out this and they practice crop rotation, that is cultivating one crop of the after another. Okay, and then we have something called crop combination. Now crop combination is the process of cultivating multiple crops in one field, help retain soil fertility, is more profit return. Okay, uh, like for example, now this is very intensive. Okay, the land is getting very pressurized. Okay, but this is a very highly profit making kind of a farming. Okay, what they do is they cultivate different kinds of crops of or most precisely they do different kinds of vegetable in one area. Okay, and then they grow it so that when the at the end product you have varieties of it. Okay, and variety of it can be well sold in the market. So this is called crop combination, and it is essential for establishing relationship in various characteristics of agriculture. Okay, and then we have something called intensity of cropping. Okay, now what does the word intensity of cropping means? The intensity of cropping means the number of crops, okay, raised on a field, okay, during an agricultural year. It means the number of crop raised on a field during an agricultural year, like how many crops or what are excluding the varieties of crop, how many crops are being cultivated on a small land in this year. Okay, that is what referred to the intensity of cropping. Means how much intensified is the cultivating process? Okay, how much the land is bearing. So this is the intensity of cropping, and you have this equation. Okay, that is the intensity of cropping is total cropped area divided by net sown area into 100. Okay, now this percentage, the average intensity of cropping in India is 132.45%. Okay, this is the average intensity of cropping in India. Mizoram is the least, that is 100%. Punjab 184.14% highest, and the West Bengal is 176%. Okay, and then we have features of Indian agriculture. So you all know what are the features of Indian agriculture, right? Small and fragmented land holdings. Now this can be also the demerit of Indian agriculture. So always be smart while answering. Okay, small land holdings. In India, what do we say is a farmer. Let's take an example. A farmer had 4 hectares of land. Okay, now he had two sons. Now both the sons got 50-50%. One got 2 hectares, one got 2 hectares. Now they each had two sons, so they divided it 1 hectare, and again 1 hectare, 1 hectare. So that kept on decreasing. Now this is called a land fragmentation. Okay, the land is getting decreasing and decreasing generation after generation. Now how what do we understand when the land is being decreased? Okay, the outcome is being decreased. Okay, because one farmer, when he used to gain let's say 400 tons, okay, of something, now he gets only 200 tons, and then 100 tons, okay, and then half of it 50 tons. Okay, it keeps on decreasing. So from commercial, he slowly and gradually comes down uh, uh, getting only food crops. Okay, just something that is being sustainable to him. Okay, he is not able to sell it, so that brings along with it the poverty. Okay, he cannot sell it in the market. He is not rich with the outcome of the soil. Okay, he is very he gets on getting poor. Okay, so this is a feature of Indian agriculture: a small and fragmented land holding. And then we have the seed. Okay, like seed is the basic agricultural input, and it has always been critical to higher agricultural production. Okay, but unfortunately, good quality seeds are out of reach of the majority of farmers, especially small and marginal farmers, because of high price of this good quality seeds. Okay, they cannot afford it. Okay, even if they can afford it, it's of no use because they cannot make profit out of it. Okay, because whatever the outcome, they only they can survive on it. So what's the use of buying very high quality seeds? Okay, which is expensive. So these are the things. Now the seeds are all those things. Um, HYV program, okay, the high yielding variety program was launched in 66-67, okay, 1966 and 1967 as a major thrust plan to increase the production of food grain in the country. And now this resulted in Green Revolution and helped solving India's food problem. Okay, we'll get to Green Revolution later on, which is a very vital heading. Okay, sub-heading. Now then we have manual fertilizers. Okay, and Indian soils have been used for growing crops over thousands of years without caring much of for replenishing. Okay, this has led to depletion and exhaustion of soils, resulting in the low productivity. Okay, the average yield of almost all the crops are one of the lowest in the world. Okay, now this is a serious problem. Okay, and even the soil is losing its fertility. And in general, mean what should they do was they should fertilize the land. No, they should use manures and fertilizers. But even that's not being possible. Even that's not being done in well amount. Or even if they are doing in well amount, it's not being very effective because they are not doing it accurately. Okay, they are making some mistakes on it. They are not using fertilizers as much as they should use. Okay, because of less income. Okay, because of less capital. Okay, they don't have much capital to handle that. Okay, now this is also one of the feature of Indian agriculture. And then after that we have irrigation. Now irrigation in India is totally bad. Okay, there are some areas that are very modern. Okay, they irrigate the land, but mostly India is dependent on the monsoonal rainfall. Okay, now if the monsoon hits on correct amount, then the product is good. If the monsoonal rain is less than famine, then the whole of the crop is destroyed. If more than flood, then whole of the crop is destroyed. So there is nothing to stop it. Okay, there is nothing to stop the natural harm. Okay, so they have to rely on the monsoonal rainfall. Now this is bad. Okay, now irrigation in Indian agriculture is very bad. Now this is the one of the features of Indian agriculture. Now you are getting me. I'm telling you the feature. Now the features is also coming to its demerits of Indian agriculture. Okay, now there are lack of mechanization. Totally. In Indian agriculture is famous for its manual labor because the land holding is very small. Okay, they cannot use tractors on a small piece of land. They do man labor. Okay, now the mechanization is very less. Okay, the tractors, threshers, most of the farmers they don't even use it. Okay, so this is the thing. And then there is soil erosion. Okay, large tracts of fertile land suffer from soil erosion by winds and water because there is nothing to control the natural forces. Okay, the natural harm. Okay, there is nothing to control those. And these areas must properly treated and restored to its original fertility. Tree plantation, bunding, contour plowing, etc. should be done here, but they are not doing it. Some places they are doing it, but mostly they don't. Okay, and this tree plantation, okay, bunding, contour plowing. These are some easy example how you can check soil erosion. Okay, and then you have agriculture marketing. Agriculture marketing still continues to be in a bad shape in rural India. In the absence of sound marketing facilities, the farmers have to depend upon local traders and middlemen for the disposal of the farm produce, which is sold at throwaway prices. Okay, the middlemen, okay, they buy it on a very less amount from the farmers. Okay, so those amounts that the farmers can even rely on. Okay, and what they do is they sell it in a high prices to the market. Okay, now this middleman. Okay, they take half or more of the profit. Okay, of the cultivated land. In most cases, like in very bad cases, okay, these farmers are forced under socio-economic condition to carry on distressed sale of their production. Now there are many things going on around on ground level. Okay, so socio and economically, farmers are forced to sell their cultivated, sell the to sell the end product of the cultivated land on very less price. Okay, very much less price, so less that it's not enough even to gain 1% profit from it. Okay, now this is the agricultural marketing shape is very bad. Okay, and then they have inadequate storage facility. The storage facility in rural areas are either totally absent or grossly inadequate. Okay, and this, okay, now and market areas still they have some cold storage and all, but that even that is not much. Okay, because like as we see in our city areas, there are only 2 to 3 cold storage. Okay, and there are so many much of vegetables and all that the sellers bring. Where would they keep it? Okay, now this is the ground reality of cities. Just imagine what is it in the farmland. Okay, they don't have any cold storage. Where will they keep all those kind of all the cultivated end products? Okay, the agricultural goods, where will they keep it? So this is the ground reality. Okay, and then they have inadequate transport. One of the main handicap with Indian agriculture is the lack of cheap and efficient means of transport. Even in present, there are lakhs of villages which are not well connected with main roads or with main centers. Most regions in the rural areas have this kacha kind of a road, okay, bullock cart road that we say. Okay, in such areas, how will they load up their agricultural goods and sell it to the market? It's not possible. Okay, it takes a lot of time, and by that time, the agricultural good is already spoiled. So these are the features. Okay, now we have finished up with the features. Okay, more detail on it I have already given you on the PDF. Okay, this is to give you a general view, and then it starts with the green revolution. Now green revolution, to say it owes its origin in the findings of a new dwarf variety of wheat seed by Dr. Norman Ernest Borlaug in Mexico. Now, the detailed definition and how did it begin, I've already given you in the PDF. So please, I hope you have already studied it. Yeah, so it will be better. And now we have the second heading is impact of green revolution. Now, what was the impact of green revolution? It increased its agricultural production. The introduction of green revolution in 1967 and 68 has resulted in a phenomenal increase in the production of agricultural crops, especially in the food grains. Okay, from 1967 onwards, the green revolution aimed at bringing about the grain revolution. Grain, okay, GRAIN, grain revolution. Among the food grains too, it is the wheat crop that drew maximum benefit from the green revolution. The production of wheat increased by more than 3 times between 67, 68 and 2006 and 2007. The overall increase in the production of cereal was only 2 times. Okay, that's still okay on a it's even said that green revolution is more of a wheat revolution. Okay, because the wheat production gained a lot from green revolution. And then the prosperity of farmers. Okay, farmers gained a much. Okay, because a small land which was producing less, for example, 10 tons of wheat, now it's producing 100 tons of wheat. Okay, so the farmer is also gaining a lot. Okay, so the farmers are getting richer. Prosperity of farmers, and then you have reduction in import of food grain. Now India is producing so much of food grain, so much of wheat and rice. Why should we import it from foreign countries? Okay, so that cost is also being excluded. Okay, we are safe from that cost. And then we have capitalistic farming. Okay, big farmers having more than 10 hectares of land have tended to get the maximum benefit from green revolution. Of course, because more than 10 hectares of land, much more HIV seeds, much more modern technology, much more use of manures and fertilizers, much more production. Okay, so they have gained a lot. Okay, much more from this from HIV seeds. Okay, from green revolution. Okay, and then you have flowing back of profit. Okay, a lot of profit has been made. Okay, a farmer who was like doing some unprofitable business, okay, or business on loss, now they are gaining some profit because the agriculture good is very much. Okay, and then you have rural employment. Okay, while on one hand large scale unemployment was feared due to mechanization of farming. Okay, when people feared that distractors and everything would take over the jobs. Okay, a lot of labor force was required to like for marketing and to use the tractors. Okay, a lot of skilled hands. Okay, now the labor force, okay, which was primitive, now they have to be skilled. Okay, in order to cope up with this new kind of a uh, new introduction on the Indian agricultural system. Okay, that is the Green Revolution, and even there was a change in the attitude of the farmers. Okay, the farmers who were only uh, cultivating the land for the food grains. Okay, for food crops. Okay, just for themselves. Okay, life sustain, just to sustain themselves. Now they have changed their attitude. Okay, they have started to sell it on the market. They have known how market works. Okay, they know about profit and loss. They can, okay, so they can cope up with gaining much more the next time. Okay, and they can also think about much more and much more. Okay, so they have learned many things. Okay, they have started to use manures, fertilizers and all. So their attitude has also changed. Okay, what was the very narrow mindedness about cultivating the land, now it has become a very broad mind. They have started to have a very broad mind. Okay, so now we have the demerits of green revolution. Okay, now what are the demerits of green revolution? Now, demerits of green revolution, at the very first, I would give you a subheading is that I've already given you on the PDF also, is the intercrop imbalances. Okay, now what did the green revolution do was there was an intercrop imbalance. That means green revolution for the most only focused on wheat. Okay, it was much more efficient only on the wheat. Rice too, but the wheat gained a lot. Now what happened was there was a lot of wheat production. Okay, and even the farmers who were not growing wheat, even they started to grow wheat. Okay, leaving other things. Okay, pulses, oilseeds, even this are needed, but they stopped cultivating all those. Okay, because whatever they had, they got enough with it. Okay, they didn't need to grow any much more. So there was an imbalance. Okay, wheat was getting very high, rice at a very small amount, and other oilseeds and all, it started to decrease. Okay, there was this intercrop imbalance, and then there was this regional disparity. If you see, okay, on an Indian map, wheat growing areas are the Punjab, Haryana, UP belt. Okay, and rice growing areas are the West Bengal, Bihar. Okay, Eastern UP, all those Assam and such well. Now there was regional disparities. Okay, some region like for UP, Haryana, not because they were growing wheat. Okay, and wheat was getting very much beneficial from the HIV seeds. They were gaining a lot from it. Okay, and the farmers were getting richer. Now there was this regional disparity. Okay, at some point farmers are getting much more richer. At some point farmers are getting much more poorer. Okay, it green revolution helped certain condition of certain farmers of certain places, but it couldn't help everybody. So there was regional disparity. Some farmers were getting rich at some area, some farmers are getting poor at some area. Okay, so this is regional disparity. Okay, And then there was even that unemployment, because to use a tractor, okay, you need one person, one skilled labor. Now if the labor is not skilled, if the laborers are not skilled, they won't get the job, okay. Now as those labor who are working on the field, and those who are old and primitive and does not know how to use or drive a car or tractors, how to use the threshers, how much to put pesticide, if they don't have those skill hands, they are not employed, and then they are unemployed, and then there is unemployment, okay. So these are the demerits of Green Revolution. And actually, there was for stability in Green Revolution, what it was needed was, it needed a very wide area, okay, like the area that is above 10 hectares, because you can use tractors and modern means in such areas. You cannot use tractors and modern means in small area and you get the whole output from it. No, it's not possible. You need a large area, because everything working together will help increase in the wheat, okay, in the wheat production or in the grain regulation. If even the tractors are there, threshers are there, fertilizers are there, manures are there, pesticides are there, everything is working together, and then there is an HYV seed, then the outcome will become double and triple and till 10 times, okay. But if the land is small and only you have the HYV seeds, then of course there will be some increase, but the increase won't be that much that the farmer will gain the profit, okay. So it needs a wider area. It needs irrigation, okay, because HYV seeds, okay, the modern seeds, they need some irrigation. About two-thirds of the total crop area is still without proper irrigation in India, okay, and so irrigation is needed, okay, and modern technologies are needed. So these are the kind of thing that was needed, okay. Uh, and then, so I said you about the demerits and about the impact of Green Revolution. Now the definition of Green Revolution and all, you will get it in the PDF. Okay. Now there are clear definitions about the history and all also. So please look into that. Now you have some important terms like micro irrigation system. Okay. Now micro irrigation system, what does it mean is to use the water, okay. Now it does not mean like adding new kind of irrigation system, no. To use the water whatever is being available to a land in a much more efficient way. Like for example, if there are monsoonal rains, okay, and the rain is getting just swept up from that uh, from from gullies and all, and it's reaching to the river. Instead of doing that, instead of wasting those water, what the government did was they made some wells, and they made some tanks, okay, to store those water, so that that water is not being wasted and it can be used for the farmland. Now this is kind of an efficient use of the water that is being already available. So this is called a micro irrigation level system, okay. It is the to use the water more efficiently and to improve productivity, okay. So this is the you got the meaning of micro irrigation system. So the government has given special thrust to improving agricultural productivity with heavy investment in micro irrigation system, especially by building tanks and all to store the water that was being wasted before. Now they are storing the water so that that water can be used for whole year, okay, not just for monsoonal period. So and according to the 11th plan period, that is 11th 5-year plan, there is 14 million hectares of land has been irrigated. Okay, much more. Okay, 14 million more hectares of land has been irrigated. And then we have something called organic farming. Green Revolution involves greater use of synthetic agrochemicals such as fertilizer and pesticides with okay. Now Green Revolution uses much more of what fertilizers, pesticides, and such kind of new chemicals. Okay. Now organic farming is what? It's growing a crop, it's cultivating a crop without much adding up of fertilizers and pesticides or any chemical. Okay. Now it is organic. Nowadays, what people have started to do was, previously after our independence, there was a very much need for to increase the agricultural product. Okay, because the population was growing, and we needed much more food crops. Okay, now slowly and gradually people have started to understand that what price did we pay. Okay, then the price was our quality. Okay, we got much more food grains. Okay, the food grains improved. Okay, it doubled to 3 times. Okay, but the quality decreased. Okay, so nowadays people, especially the rich people, what they do is they need all the organic kind of things, like those like the agricultural goods that is cultivated on land without fertilizers. Okay, without chemicals. Okay, agricultural goods without any chemicals. Okay, chemical free goods. Okay, we need that. And Sikkim has become the first state in India to grow like in on entirely organic foods. Okay, they don't use pesticide chemicals or any such kind of chemicals. Okay, harmful chemicals. So Sikkim has become the first state, but still it is found out that it's not possible. Okay, because it cannot meet the needs of so many of population. Okay, so but still much more thing being handled over, like that scientists are going through, like on how to get organic foods. Okay, how to take us away from now all these chemicals. Okay, so they are working on it. Let's see. And then we have something called precision farming. Okay, now it is capturing. Now precision farming, to understand this, it's a modern kind of technology to improve the outcome, but to decrease the capital investment. Okay, now the lot of investment is required. Okay, how much investment is required to grow a crop. Now what does this precision farming does is they tend to decrease that amount of investment. Okay, and they tend to increase the outcome of it. Okay, like if something was needed, like very previously, all those on this marketing area, they used to package 1 kg of tea. Okay, in this tea plantation, 1 kg of tea, for example, and it required around maybe 10 rupees of cost. Okay, of investment for packaging and everything, wood and all. Okay, and nowadays what they do is they don't packet it on wooden box. They packet it on envelopes. Okay, or papers or cardboards. Okay, and that way the cost of investment has decreased to from 10 rupees to 2 rupees. Okay, while the outcome, they can increase the outcome, they can put 2 kgs too on this cardboard. Okay, so that's how you decrease the investment and you increase the outcome. So precision farming actually uh, deals with this. Okay, how to decrease the investment and increase the outcome. Okay. And then we have something called white agriculture. Now, white agriculture is actually a system of agriculture based on a substantial, okay, use of microorganisms, particularly fungi. This is kind of an agricultural system of growing of crops without the hassle of cultivating a land, irrigating it, putting manures, without the hassle of it, but by just by growing it from the fungi. Now this sounds very strange, but it has its name white agriculture because of the white um, quoted the white dress the scientists wear. Okay, got its name from them. Okay, because it is much more scientific. Okay, the scientists they study and they are trying. Okay, like to grow certain kind of crop from the fungi itself. Okay, from the microorganism itself. Okay, without the hassle of cultivating a land and all this kind of thing. The concept of white agriculture took shape in 1986 in China. Okay, white refers to the white-coated scientists and technicians performing high-tech process to produce food directly from the microorganism or to use them to augment and improve agriculture. Okay, so this is the white agriculture. Diversifying. Then we have animal husbandry. Animal husbandry, we all know. Okay, it's like it's much more of cattle rearing. Okay, you put some cows. Okay, for dairy farming. Okay, and then you have some sheep for wool, okay, and then you have the sheep worms, okay, all this kind of, this is all animal husbandry, or you give some cattle for their milk, skin, meat, okay. Now there's even meat comes on packaging, okay, all those kind of things. Okay, now even this sector, animal husbandry, is also getting large scale. Previously, it was just we used to have this guala, no, in our local areas. Nowadays, we have those packaged himus and omus and everything. Okay, we used to have this butcher shop. Nowadays, we get all those tin can, or we get meat on boxes. Okay, like tuna fishes. Okay, we get on tins. So this is also increasing. This sector is also improving. Okay, this sector is also increasing. Now these are some important terms I wanted you all to understand. Okay, maybe you will find it in book or no, but I've explained you so that you can answer it when asked. Okay, and then we have the crop seasons. So we have three crop seasons: Kharif, Rabi, and Zaid. Now this is Kharif season. Okay, this starts with the onset of monsoon and continues till the beginning of winter. Okay, it starts with May and June and continues to October, November. Okay. The major crops of this season are rice, maize, jowar, bajra, okay, cotton season groundnut, and some pulses such as moong, urad, okay, all this dal, moong, urad dal, okay, etc. Now these are the Kharif crops, and then we have Rabi crops. The Rabi crops, okay, it starts with the beginning of winter season and continues till end of winter or beginning of summer, okay, like in beginning of winter season, okay, November and December to harvesting is on February and March, okay, from November to December to February and March, okay. The major crop of this region are wheat, barley, jowar, gram, oilseeds such as linseed, rape, and mustard. And then we have Zaid. Okay, this is summer cropping. This happens in summer regions. Okay, and major Zaid crops are rice, maize, groundnut, vegetables, and fruits like watermelon, muskmelon. Okay, and in this Zaid crops, when I say rice, okay, it needs irrigation. Okay, because there is the monsoon hasn't started yet, so it needs irrigation for rice cultivation. Okay, on the cucumbers, etc. Okay, now these are the Zaid crops. So these are the three cropping seasons. I just went through it. Okay, I just explained you. I just wanted you all to give the month. Okay, May, June to October, November for Kharif. Okay, and November, December to February and March for Rabi. Okay, and the summer season. Okay, summer season for Zaid. Okay, I just wanted to give you all the months for it. Okay, and regarding this too, I've given you in the PDF and written materials. Just see, we have these major crops, and can you see this map? Do you see that gap here? Do you see that the UP, Haryana, Western UP, Haryana, and Punjab? These are the wheat producing area, and after here on the eastern side we have this rice cultivated areas. Do you see now that point? Okay, that mark on now this exactly there. The 100 centimeter iso height, okay, exactly divides earth into rice cultivating zone and wheat cultivating zone. Now what is iso height? Just like contour is an imaginary line connecting all the places of higher areas, like contour lines you all know, no? It marks marks all the areas of similar height, no, contour. Just like that, iso height is an imaginary line that marks the areas of similar rainfall getting receiving area. So there is the 100 centimeter iso height clearly divides India into rice cultivating zone and wheat cultivating zone. Okay, more than 100 centimeter of rainfall rice cultivating zone, less than 100 centimeter rainfall wheat cultivating zone. Okay. To just like start from rice. Rice is a kharif and a zaid crop. Okay, it is a food crop. Okay, now rice is a kharif and a zaid crop. The temperature, mean monthly temperature required is around 24 degrees Celsius, and average annual rainfall is 150 centimeter. Okay, rainfall. Okay, and if like in red seasons, okay, it needs irrigation or people or places below or somewhere around 100 centimeter of rainfall where there are rice cultivation, it needs irrigation. So rice needs a lot of irrigation for places where the rainfall is little lesser than 150 centimeter rainfall. Okay, like in Punjab and Haryana region also and UP region also rice are cultivated. Okay, but in very high irrigated areas. Okay, now the soil required here is deep, fertile, clayey or loamy soil. Okay, it is considered ideal for rice cultivation. Deep, fertile, clayey or loamy soil. Uh, then regarding everything else, I have given you on the PDF, but still I just want to explain. Just want to go through this once. Okay, production of rice is regularly increasing in India. Okay, India produces about 22% of the world's rice and is the second largest producer of rice after China. Okay, and the highest rice producing state in India is West Bengal, followed by Punjab. Okay, and then Andhra Pradesh, UP. Okay, Odisha, Tamil Nadu. So these are the regions. High heat and high humidity. Okay, now how much does China produce? It produces around 33%. Okay, of total rice production in the world. India 22%. India comes on the second. Okay, India on terms of world it comes to around 29%. Okay, and rice is cultivated on around 23% of India's land. Okay, cultivated on 23% of cropped area of India is rice. Okay, so these are the some points. Okay, 23% of cropped area of India is rice cultivated zone. Okay, rice is cultivated on 23% of cultivated area in India. Okay, on world it covers around 29% of rice production. Okay, it is the second largest after China. China produces around 33%. Okay, you have this 3 point, and then we come to wheat. Let's just see. Okay, wheat production. Now wheat is a rabi crop. Okay, it requires around temperature around 10 to 20 degrees Celsius and rainfall 70 centimeter to 50 to 70 centimeter. Okay, now this is a wheat growing temperature suitable. Okay, the soil required here is loamy and clay soil. Okay, at present wheat is grown on 33% of the gross cropped area in the country. Rice was 23%. Okay, wheat is 33% of the total cultivated land of India. But on the total land of India, 33% of land is cultivated with wheat. Rice was of with 23%. Okay, don't get mixed up. Huh? The total I have given you all this in PDF and written file, but still. The highest wheat producing area is Uttar Pradesh, followed by Punjab, and then Haryana, and then Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Okay. Mm, this is the thing. This is the wheat. Okay. Just go through the map once. Okay. Try to screenshot it once if possible. India produces about 12% of world's wheat. Okay, 12%. That is second to China. China produces 20% of world's wheat. Okay. I'm giving you the points. Okay. If possible, you can note it down. And then you have coarse grains like maize, bajra, ragi, and pulses. It's ragi, no? Ragi, RAG, ragi. Now, maize requires temperature of 22 to 27 degrees Celsius, mostly on loamy soil, and rainfall of 75 centimeter. Okay. Maize in the world. India produces 1.7% of the world's total maize production. Okay, USA is the highest, followed by China, Brazil, Mexico, France, Argentina. Okay, uh, after that comes India. So USA, China, Brazil, Mexico, France, Argentina, and then then India. That comes to 7 with 1.7% of world's total maize production. Okay, Karnataka is the highest maize producing area, followed by Andhra Pradesh, UP, Bihar. And then we have Goa. Goa needs 25 to 30 degrees Celsius of temperature, 55 centimeter of rainfall, and the soil and the required kind of soil is red, yellow, loamy, and alluvial soil. Okay, Goa is grown 16% of the agricultural land of India. Okay, so, this is the thing. Okay, Karnataka Jowar is grown mostly on Maharashtra. Okay, Maharashtra is the largest producer of jowar, followed by Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. And then we have Bajra that requires 40 to 45 centimeter rainfall, 25 degree to 30 degrees Celsius temperature, and a light sandy soil. Okay, for Bajra. So when I say Bajra, always remember Rajasthan. Okay, they have Bajra ki roti. So Rajasthan is the highest bajra producing state, that is 38%, followed by UP, Maharashtra. Okay, bajra is grown on very small 7% of our land. Okay, and then we have ragi. That ragi has 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius. It means temperature, 50 to 100 centimeter rainfall, and red, black, and sandy soil or alluvial loamy soil. Okay. Now these are the coarse grains. And then you have commercial and industrial crops. Now, and here comes tea, coffee, cotton, jute, sugarcane, oilseeds, groundnut, and coconut. Okay. Now, tea requires about 25 to 30 degrees Celsius temperature and a well-distributed rainfall of 200 to 250 centimeter and a slopy land. Always remember, for tea, it requires a slopy land. Okay, because on a stagnant land, okay, in a plain land, the heavy rainfall will get stored, okay, and it will get paddy. That is required for rice, okay, not for tea. Tea, it requires a slope because the water needs to get swept, okay. It needs high rainfall, but not a stagnant water, okay. It needs the water to sweep through the slopes, okay. So here the tea, okay. India is the world's largest producer of tea, contributing about 35% of total tea production of the wheat of the world. Okay, largest 35% of the total tea production. Okay, Assam is the largest producer of tea in India. Okay, accounted for more than 40% and over half of the total production. Okay, and followed by West Bengal, then Tamil Nadu, Kerala. Okay, in West Bengal you all know Darjeeling area. Okay. And even in South India, in Tamil Nadu, Nilgiris and the Ghats, okay, because those are the hilly areas. Wherever hilly areas, just remember tea cultivation, okay. And then we have cotton. Cotton is the basic raw material for cotton textile industries. Okay, about half of the world's cloth is manufactured from cotton, and it is aptly called the universal fiber. Okay, cotton is called a universal fiber. Now, what are the conditions of growth here? It's 20 to 30 degrees Celsius temperature, 50 to 100 centimeter rainfall. Okay, the black soil. Okay, you all know, no, cotton is grown on black soil of the Deccan Plateau and alluvial soil of the Northern Plain. Okay, black soil of the Deccan Plateau is the essential. It's the much more healthier soil for cotton growth. Okay, frost. Frost is very harmful for cotton production. Okay, 200 frost-free days is required in a year. Okay, for successful cultivation of cotton. Okay, 200 frost-free. Okay, and I forgot this. India is the fourth largest producer of cotton in the world. Fourth largest. Okay, and produces about 8% of the world's cotton. Now the main cotton producing areas are those areas where there are a lot of textile industries. Okay, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Punjab. Okay, these are the four major. Okay, Gujarat comes the first, followed by Maharashtra, then Andhra Pradesh, then Punjab. Okay, now forgot coffee. Okay, so let's start with coffee. Coffee is the second important beverage crop of India after tea. India grows 6 commercially important varieties of coffee. Okay, these are the old chicks, Cooks, Canes, S2 and there are some names of coffee. Okay, most of the coffee grown in India is of Arabica variety. Okay, very high variety. Coffee plant requires hot and humid climate with temperature of 20 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius and temperature of 100 to 250 centimeter rainfall. Okay. Uh, Now it too does it too shouldn't have frost. Okay, it too should have frost. It's the area should be frost free, and the soil is should be with rich, well drained forest loams. Okay, provide ideal condition for coffee growth. And coffee is grown highly in Karnataka, followed by Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and others. Coffee is in southern areas. Okay, they are rich with coffee plantation. Okay. And then you have jute. Okay, jute is the second important fiber crop after cotton. Okay, fiber crop that makes helps making cloth. Okay, this crop provides cheap and strong fiber, which is used as raw material by jute industries. Okay, it requires hot and humid climate with temperatures varying between 20 degree to 30 degrees Celsius and rainfall over above 150 centimeter. Okay, jute that comes in our mind is West Bengal. Okay, and Bangladesh areas. Okay, then West Bengal is the highest jute producing area, followed by Bihar, Assam, and others. Bangladesh is the largest producer of jute in the world. Okay, Bangladesh. And then we have sugarcane. Okay, for sugarcane, we need a hot and humid climate with a 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Hot and humid, of course, because these are tropical plants. Okay, so you need hot and humid. 20 to 30 degrees Celsius is standard. Okay, so this is a hack. Okay, you can always think about this. Okay, whenever you have to write a point on sugarcane or something. Okay, and rainfall ranges from 100 to 150 centimeter. Okay, and the rainfall should be of this much.